thrilled to have here in studio one of the stars of Mike and Molly on CBS, the hit comedy, Mondays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. A big fan of the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I'm a big fan of yours, sir. Good to see you, Billy.
Back at you, man. Back at you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you bet. And the first things first, I have right here, I'll show it to the radio audience.
What do we got?
I got a poster autographed by all the folks who are part of the live read at the local Museum of Art here of Major League.
He stole the night.
Well,
he stole the night because he read all the stage directions.
It's a big part.
And made it sound like you were at the game and outdid all the actors. The only person that I think might have stolen a little spotlight was the casting of Sofia Vergara as Serrano.
Oh my God!
Which was just very funny.
Every time
you crushed it, man. You crushed us.
Well, look, I'm sitting next to you. You're playing the manager.
Yeah, which was fun. I got to just be Lou and be grumpy, which was great.
You had the gravelly voice thing
you had
down.
to give him a little nod. I got a guy on line 2 about some white walls, Eddie. It was fun to do. You know?
And then Brian Wilson, the bearded one, showing up and playing Wild Thing.
Phenomenal. And didn't he do great?
He was Wild Thing in real life.
He was the guy,
right? He was Ricky Vaughn, essentially, for the San Francisco Giants when he played.
Yep.
And you know, Joe Manganiello, who put this whole thing together.
Joe's a good guy. Good
and his fiance, he's like, you know what? Let's make her Pedro Serrano.
Great casting.
Every time she opened her mouth,
huge laugh.
The whole place fell down flat.
Yeah.
What's your favorite sports movie? Which one do you like?
Oh,
if
man.
You're gonna go there.
I have, I got a couple. I got to say The Natural is just one of my greatest movies. Of course, Field of Dreams, but I think that's a standard. We were actually talking a little bit about this when I met you.
We were.
I'll tell you the underrated one as a man you have to watch alone is For the Love of the Game. You can't watch that with your other friends, right? Because you do start to whimper, so you can't watch that with your other guy friends around.
That's the Lost Costner sports movie.
It is the Lost. It's the Costner in a bottle, if you will. That's the one. But that's the one that you watch, and you're like, and Vince Scully does such a great narration, and that's what you were doing for the Major League, man. You spun us in there. You spun us in there.
It was a great night.
He would say the crowd boos and the crowd would boo. He would say the crowd cheers and the crowd would cheer. It was amazing.
Well, usually when I do speak in front of a crowd, they just start booing.
Well,
normally
I know
that happens. Didn't you hear the draft?
I'm a stand-up comic. I know all about boos. Believe me. Believe me.
So how did you get started to go from stand-up comedy to what you're doing with Mike and Molly?
I started in 1987 as a stand-up comic. I started in Orlando, Florida, and I thought if I could just pay the rent by telling jokes, I would have won at show business. I figured that was it. And, you know, when you're in your 20s, that seems like a really good deal. Then you hit 35 and you're like, I need a job.
Right.
And, you know, I came out to L.A. when I was about 27 and just beat around and did, you know, got a little guest starring part. For a while, I was on everything that was ever canceled. And I was that guy, like, I had these little parts, like, never any notoriety or nothing steady. So I was always that guy where people would go, did we see you on TV, or did you fix our toilet? I know, I've seen your face. Were you at the house? But then, you know, long 25 years later, I got my break, man. I got the one that was supposed to be for me, you know, so that was it. The only thing I did right, I always tell young guys, was I didn't quit. That was the only thing I did right. So, and I got lucky.
So how long had you been doing stand-up comedy before that you got the phone call?
I did stand-up comedy. I've done it every year from '87 till presently. I was out on tour last month, you know, and in the meantime, when I lived in L.A., I did stand-up for 10 years, came to L.A., put in another 15. And while I was doing that, I would get like a bit part, and then I'd go out on the road for a couple weeks. Then I'd get a bit part and go out on the road for a couple weeks.
So you were on the road when you found out about Mike and Molly?
We did the pilot for Mike and Molly, and then there's that weird limbo where no one talks to you for like 6 weeks.
Yeah.
And you're not sure because all the powers that be are making the decision, are we going to put this thing on the air?
It's sort of like you don't want to jinx a no-hitter. Nobody's talking to each other.
Everybody gets away from you on the bench. You put your jacket on, you look down, you don't talk to nobody. So I was doing a gig. I was actually working at a place in Milwaukee, and I was performing in the basement of a strip club. So you can imagine what a top-tier level of show business that was. It was basically all the guys that had run out of money in the strip joint, they send them downstairs, because they're in the mood to laugh. So I'm performing for these 12 losers.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those nights on stage as a comic where you go, what have I done with my life? I should have went to college. So I come off stage, and there's 25 phone calls on my thing. So I figured it's good news. I call. All these people are calling me, my manager, my agent, and they're picking up Mike and Molly. You're going to series. You're going to series. So my brother had driven up from Chicago to Milwaukee to hang with me and make sure I didn't hang myself at the Motel 6 I was staying at the gig. And we we're guys that, we're neighborhood guys, so we're like, that was good luck. We should go to the casino and celebrate. I mean, just let's see if we can roll that into something else.
Parlay it.
So I called my wife and I said, honey, I said, we got picked up. Me and Bri are going to go down to the casino and so I'm going to take $100 out of the ATM. And she goes, oh, congratulations, sweetie. Good luck tonight. So we're driving and we're about halfway down the road and my wife calls me and she goes, don't touch the ATM. I said, what? She goes, the electric bill come out. She goes, we have $7.18.
In the account?
I had $7.18 in my account when Mike and Molly got picked up for sure. You want to talk about safe at the plate? That was it. So I went back to the club and I begged the owner to give me an advance so I could still go to the casino.
Attaboy, yeah, don't give up on your dream.
Like a run like that. We ended up winning $500.
Attaboy.
So it was all right.
It's a great night.
Right,
and now you've been
now
picked up for season 6. Everything's great. Yeah, and I mean, talk about having as talented a co-star as you can possibly have.
She's amazing, man. She's amazing.
Melissa McCarthy she's turned into a dynamo.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen a rise through comedy like that since like Eddie Murphy in the 80s.
Wow.
And the great thing about her, man, is she hasn't changed. She's the same girl that I met when we started. She was 8 months pregnant when she auditioned for Mike and Molly. She's literally holding the baby coming in and auditioning. She's this force of nature. But there's a kindness behind her, and our whole cast is like that. We're a group. I always say that the reason we've gotten along and nobody's gone crazy in 6 years is because everybody was over 40 when it happened. So everybody was over 40. They'd been kicked around a little bit, or you had a family, or both. So there was this. There's a different attitude when you're 40 and success comes for you. Like when you're 22, you're insane already.
Right.
You're already a lunatic, and you're lucky if you get through it. You know what I mean? If somebody hands you a bag of money and tells you you're a genius every day, and you're 22, you're going to become a bit of a pain.
So the Jameis Winston story, essentially.
Yeah,
I think you just described the Jameis Winston story right there.
Like, I empathize. I see how it happens.
Sure.
But your priorities are different. When you're 40 and it hits, after having been on it for a while, you're like, oh, man, we have good parking, and we got coffee. They go get us coffee every day. Like, everybody had this attitude of being grateful. And then we all became friends, and I think it comes through on the show.
No doubt.
It's a lot of fun on our show.
No doubt. Yeah. And I guess everybody, when they find success at that stage, has had some form of performing in a basement in a strip club in Milwaukee with 70 change in your account when you get this news. You start to really understand how lucky you are to work in this business. I mean, it's 1% of 1%, and if you get that ride, I mean, just to get on TV it's astronomical, and then to get on one that actually becomes a hit, people you love working with, it's a gift every day, man. Every day. And I've been saying that since year one, and some writers are like, we'll see in year 5. How you feel about that? Yeah, that you're all bitter. Feel the same way, man. So yeah, and now again, you're renewed for season 6. I'm here with Billy Gardell of Mike and Molly right here on the Rich Eisen Show. At Billy Gardell is how you can follow. The Rich Eisen Show. Well, I mean, I like that. That's the Rich Eisen. Well, I mean, that's sort of the Michigan guy in me, because that's how people say Ohio State. You know, Are you an Ohio State guy? Hell no, I'm a Michigan guy. Okay, all right. I don't want to cause any problems. Did you see I almost jumped out of my seat? I saw there was a little something there. I just wondered what that was. Yeah, there are very few sports things that make me want to jump out of my seat. I feel that way about Cleveland. Cleveland does that to me. Is that right? I try to maintain my hate for Cleveland out of respect. But out of respect. Out of respect. But at this point, everybody likes to hate Baltimore, and Modell took them in the middle of the night, and I get that. But I grew up, your rite of passage in Pittsburgh was you had to go to a Cleveland game, right, and get chased to your car. And then when they came over, their kids came over, and we chased them to their cars. There was a rite of passage. I missed that. I really missed it. It's how you're forged. Literally. In a way. We actually, a lot of people don't know this, the last Pittsburgh-Cleveland game, we were one of the 2 teams to protest Cleveland moving. It was us and Buffalo. Those were the 2 owners that stepped up and said, this is wrong. And all the Pittsburgh fans that night, we wore orange armbands.
And Myron Cope even said that the
Right.
hate is leaving the city. Yoy, it's a terrible thing. A terrible thing. So we missed them. We missed that
except,
rivalry.
you know, the Bills were doing that for solidarity as being a small-town team,
Yeah,
right? And
absolutely.
the
They were just
Steelers-
saying it's not fair.
The Steelers just knew that you couldn't have nothing in Cleveland. I mean, what else? That's
it's-
2 wins a year that would be going out the door, Billy. Let's be honest
I'm
here.
padding the stats. But there was a great rival. That's the Packers, the Bears. That's the Eagles, the Giants. That's our version of that. And when it went away, yeah. Like I don't know. There's a different kind of distaste for the Baltimore Ravens that I have, because that's probably the most violent game of the year, I think.
And now it seems like every other year or every third year there's a playoff game.
And it's always us and them.
Yes.
And that game is always the game where I pray, just please let everybody live through it.
Mm-hmm.
Let no one die during this game. That is the gladiator game of the year as far as I'm concerned, in the entire NFL.
I'm here with Billy Gardell. Let's take a break. We're back here in 60 seconds. We'll talk about your Steelers. Would you want to take a phone call?
Sure.
We'll take a
Love
phone
to.
call. There's one here I want to take with you
Go
sitting
ahead,
here.
fire them up.
Yeah, we're going to take a phone call here with Billy Gardell, Mike and Molly, Mondays at CBS at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. We're back with your phone calls with Billy Gardell and also his thoughts on his beloved Steelers and their draft in just 1 minute's time here on The Rich Eisen Show. Welcome back to The Rich Eisen Show. We are sitting here with Billy Gardell, one of the stars of Mike and Molly, Mondays 8:30 on CBS.
Yes, sir.
Which every time there's a sporting event on it, I'm reminded is America's most watched network.
America's most
And part of that is because of Mike and Molly, my friend.
the eyes.
It's already,
The eye. We
I
all like
it.
working for the eye.
Would you like to do? It was a very popular thing that we did after the schedules came out with our listeners and viewers of this program, going over the schedule game by game of their favorite team.
Yeah.
And figuring out.
Yeah,
what
this
you
is a
think
brutal year for us.
Would you like to do that for
Sure,
the
it's
Pittsburgh
brutal.
Steelers?
Yeah, it's absolutely
But before
brutal.
we get there, first things
Yeah.
first, your
Yeah.
thoughts on the Deflategate that everybody is talking about right now, since it looks like your Steelers are going to get to see Jimmy Garoppolo's first career start in Game
Wait,
1.
what happened?
Yes. Yeah, there's
Did
something.
something happen to-
Yeah, my gosh.
Who?
Yeah, I know.
Was it in the, is
Yeah.
this, do you guys breaking this?
Oh no! Yeah, is this a Rich Eisen show
this-
exclusive? At least
what
it is to
happened?
Billy Gardell.
Yeah, breaking news.
Yeah.
Just say you did it.
You think
Come
he
on
did
and
it?
say you did it.
You think he
just,
did it?
Oh, just say it. That's all. We'll leave you alone.
But you really think
it's a
he-
parasitic society. We don't care about the crime anymore. We just want you to rub your face in it for a minute. Say you did it. We'll all move on. That's all. We'll go back to playing football. That's all. Say you did it. I did it. And say Belichick knew. Don't pretend Belichick didn't know. Come on, dude. That guy knows if a Diet Pepsi goes out of the building. You want to tell me he didn't know that the... Okay, come on. So, yeah, we did it. We're sorry. Here's our fine. No 2 game. Let's move on, you know?
What if he
Just say you did it.
What if he did? What if he took your speech that you just gave verbatim?
Yes.
If we transcribed it about being a parasitic society,
We
you all just want to rub my face.
We
What
just
if he
want
did
the
that?
conviction. That's all people are. That's what talk radio wants. That's the society we've become. We want to. Did you do that? Did you do that? That's all we want to do. So say you did it, and let's just move forward so we can talk sports.
Yeah, that's not happening though.
No, it's going to go on.
It's gonna go on.
And the more they go, we don't know nothing about that. Well, then it's just going to keep going. Stop. Just say you did it and move on. That's all.
So it looks like you're going to get Jimmy Garoppolo
Now,
week 1.
Is it? Did they conclude that he definitely did it?
There's
Is it
no
100%.
No, it's not concluded 100%. That's the issue. It's
Well, then
more
it's
probable
never,
than not.
If at this point it's never been proven, then it's pointless anyway.
It's not just a parasitic society, it's an overparsed society that we live in right
Yeah.
now in the 21st century.
Yeah.
And so now a player of Tom Brady's consequence
Yeah.
is going to be sat on a phrase called more probable than not. And he's
Yeah.
generally aware.
Yeah.
That's the 21st century sort
I'm
of story.
glad I don't have to make that decision.
Yeah.
I mean, as a Steeler fan, I'm glad he's sitting game 1.
There you go.
I know
That works out.
my secondary is very grateful that he's not going to be.
Well,
on
and the Buffalo Bills take on the Patriots week 2.
Yeah.
So even if
So
it's
it's divisional as well.
If his suspension's
Yeah.
cut in half, those
Yeah.
are the 2 teams
Those
that'll
are the
miss.
2, yeah.
All right, you want to do the win-loss game for the
I would love
Pittsburgh
to
Steelers?
do it.
Do we have music back, or you're still locked
I just
up
got
there,
to say
Mike?
win-loss.
Yeah. Just say just win-loss.
This
We're
is
even
a
playing
tough season.
some
We got
NFL
a
films
brand
music.
new defense, Rich.
I know that.
They're
so
all
you're at
12
the
years
Patriots. Billy Gardell playing the win-loss game for his Steelers. They're at the Patriots week 1.
Brady's playing. I think we lose. If he's not playing, we win.
I don't think he's playing. I'll give you a win
So
there.
I'll take a W.
You're home for the 49ers.
Win.
That's 2-0. At the Rams.
Win.
That's 3-0. Then your Thursday night short week at home on my network and yours, CBS and NFL Network, against the Ravens.
We're at home against the Ravens?
Yes, you are.
Win.
You're 4-0. Then you're at the Chargers on Monday night.
Win.
That's 5-0. Tough defense, tough season. Bud Dupree's going to do well,
offense.
I guess.
We're going up top.
Home again.
Offense.
Bruce Arians, who you sent off, quote unquote, into retirement, comes back with the Arizona Cardinals.
They come to Pittsburgh?
Yes, they do.
That's a win.
That's 6-0 at the Kansas City Chiefs.
That's a win.
7-0. Come on, man. Home for the Bengals.
Win. It's the Bengals.
Home for the Raiders.
Win.
Home for the Browns.
Win.
They are, according to Billy Gardell, an absurd 10-0 going into their bye week. At the Seahawks.
Lost.
All right, you'll allow that.
Yeah, because Pete Carroll will think of some way to mess us up.
Home for the Colts.
Home for the Colts. That's a win.
All right. At the Bengals.
That's a loss.
All right.
Split with that.
Home for the Broncos. Peyton Manning on CBS, your network.
What month is that?
December 20th.
Yeah, that's a win.
At the Ravens.
That's a loss.
All right. And then at the Browns.
That's a win.
That's a 13-3 season for the Pittsburgh Steelers, according to Billy Gardell. Brockman, your thoughts? Be gentle to our guests.
What was week one again?
Week one is you guys. I said if Brady's in, we probably lose that one. If he's out, we win that one.
Great. So it's more probable than not you're going to lose week
So
one.
you think he's going to start?
Yeah.
Oh,
Game one, you think?
He's. By the way,
This is deny till you die. This is going to the mattresses. This is going to be overturned.
Billy.
You think so?
There's no actual evidence of anything.
Billy, although over there it doesn't look like we have a tank on the set,
Yeah.
we do, and he's in it.
Yeah.
I mean, he's in that tank.
Yeah, well,
Talk
I
about
understand.
Two
I
delusional
understand
fans, 13-3 over here, and he's playing game one.
And what about your Eagles? What about your
I
Chip
was
Kelly
realistic.
Eagles?
I said 11-5.
Wait, hold on a
Why
second.
did
Is that
they
what
get
you
rid
actually
of that
said?
quarterback just because he busted his shoulder up? Didn't we see what happened to Drew Brees? Let's let that guy recover before we trade him out.
It is physically impossible to answer a question about why Chip Kelly did something
I don't
at this
understand
point. So
Do we
cannot
have
do
that answer that he gave me? I asked him when he was on the NFL Network live draft coverage.
Oh, you
Billy.
did?
I didn't ask him that
understand.
exact question about Nick Foles. Just that wondering, is he aware of how much we in the media are all thinking about what he's thinking?
Yeah.
I asked him, and here was his
response.
response. Here it is.
I don't think about what I think as much as you think about what I think.
Okay.
You know that I know that you know. Oh, Eisen, I know what you know, and you know what we think. Oh.
I have never thought Chip Kelly is Ralph Cramden.
No.
I've never thought about that.
He's
I like
a kinder,
it.
gentler.
Yeah?
He's a kinder, gentler.
He gets tripped
Ralph
up by
Cramden.
Swanee
That's
River in the very
He
end.
just gets, he
Oh,
goes
my
and hits his defensive coordinator.
So who's his Ed Norton? Who would be his
the
Ed?
defensive coordinator?
Is this
would
Ed
have to
Norton?
be. Yeah.
Or it's Sam Bradford's his Ed Norton?
Sam Bradford would be.
Would you like to
That's
take a call?
interesting.
See what I?
I'd
see
love
what I,
to.
Okay,
Yeah,
let's
what
take
do
a
we
call. Michael, from right here in Los Angeles, California. Michael, you're on with Billy Gardell. Michael?
Hey, I'm here.
Michael, what do you got for us today?
I got a question about the Wells report. It said the Colts had their balls deflated too. So why aren't they being penalized?
What do you mean?
It said in the Wells report that their balls were underinflated.
No, I don't believe so. They said that the footballs.
Page 8.
Well, I mean,
they fell within the range of the ideal gas law of what would have come out during the cold weather drop and normal use. It wasn't
Billy,
egregious
we're
enough.
talking about the ideal frickin' gas law.
You know, Rich, you can tell it's April. We're just, we're waiting for kickoff.
Wait.
I'm a guy. Look, I wait for football season. My wife will come home and catch me watching log chopping competitions. Let's just get the kickoff. I mean, we got to trail the story.
Did anybody check the axe?
The blade?
Yeah, the blade, just to see if it was
the
within
ratio,
Yes.
what size flint he was using.
Yes.
There's a whole
Yeah.
investigation. Guys will just watch sports, and we have nothing to talk about until it's football season other than baseball.
Oh, my
And
gosh.
so, and the baseball's just getting started, so you really don't know what's going on yet. So,
Jeremy in Montana, you're on with Billy Gardell here on the Rich Eisen Show. Jeremy,
Hi, Rich.
how are you?
Great. My whole thing is with this whole thing with Tom Brady. It needs us just. He doesn't need an 8-game or 4-game suspension. He needs a lot longer. Possibly not even be allowed into the Hall of Fame with his stats. The only reason why I'm saying this is because he's given football and his coach Bill Belichick a black guy in the NFL with everything they've done in the past, and now this, going into the Super Bowl. I got a cousin of mine who's a Hall of Famer in the NFL right now.
Who's that, Jeremy?
Charlie Trippy. He played for the old Chicago Cardinals.
Sure.
And he beat the Eagles back in '47 for the championship back then.
Right.
And he's a first-round draft pick back in the '40s. But, I mean, like I said, from my family aspect of it, is that he's giving football a black eye of the whole deal.
Well, Jeremy, I appreciate you calling in. You see, what do you think of that opinion? Keep him out of the hall, Billy?
No, I think that's a little steep, isn't
Yeah?
it? I
Well,
don't know. I mean, does it make that much of a difference?
Well, I
does
guess
it make that much of a difference?
That's a great question.
Here's the real question.
Yes, what's
does
the
it make that much of a difference?
I don't believe it does.
You know?
But,
you still got to throw it and catch it.
The way I've been
Where I think it would be,
Sure.
I'm sorry, where I think it might make the difference is with the running backs. Not a lot of fumbles.
Interesting you bring that up. Patriots' second least fumbles in the league last year, only trailing the Minnesota Vikings.
Well, that's because Stephen Ridley was hurt most
As
of
my
the
friend
year.
would say, as my dear friend would say, that's math.
13 fumbles last year.
Hold on,
math.
you're going to the wrong guy
My
for
buddy
math,
Joey
then.
O'Connell
Sorry.
from Penn Hills would say, that's math, Bill. You can't
13
argue with
fumbles
math.
last year, they only lost 4 of them.
There you go.
Second least in the league.
Keep me out of the Hall of Fame. I got to be honest with you. You can't spell tripping without trippy. I guess.
Belichick now giving Brady's reputation a black eye.
No, the other way around.
Oh, gosh.
Brady
I
giving
can't keep track
Belichick
of it
a
anymore,
I know.
man.
I mean, good God.
You're right. Kickoff can't come soon enough. But when kickoff happens, we'll be talking about this because look who's starting for the Patriots, baby. It's unavoidable, Billy.
Here's the other, the other thing with all this is, we had the whole videotape thing. We had the videotape thing,
We
too.
did have,
I mean,
yeah.
if you're going to be that, if you're going to be the Empire, then just be the Darth Vader. Just go out and, come out and do Kodak commercials. I don't know, just be who you are.
Billy Gardell of Mike and Molly, Mondays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Please, sir, do not be a stranger. Come back.
I would love to come back. You guys are great. Hang in there.
Thank you.
I understand your pain. I do. I get
Pointing
it.
to Brockman right
and
there.
I like your loyalty.
Okay.
I like
Billy.
that. I
Please
respect
come back.
that. I
Please
get
come
it.
back as much
I'd
as you'd
love to
like.
anytime. Thank
You
you
are the
for having
man.
me. I am stealing the coffee cup.
It's yours to keep,
The
sir.
shows and the guys I like, I take the coffee cup home. That's my souvenir cupboard.
I appreciate that. Who else?
Pittsburgh. Then my dad comes out, I got that on the Eisen show. He let me keep that. I took that home with me.
Well, Pittsburgh, he's there.
Go Steelers, by the way.
Billy Gardell says they're 13-3. He's
13-3.
not delusional at all. He believes it.
I do.
Mike and Molly, Mondays, 8:30 p.m. Eastern on CBS.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern. On Audience.